For our upcoming session, we are glad to have with us Dr. Garima Agrawal. Dr. Agrawal is a gold medalist in MD Medicine and a top ranker in DM nephrology. She is a nephrologist with extensive expertise in the areas of hypertension, kidney disease, renal transplant, dialysis, and critical care nephrology. Being an active member of Indian and global communities, she is abreast of latest developments in this area. Over to her for the topic on why does a kidney transplant fail?
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Garima Agarwal. I'm a consultant nephrologist and transplant physician from Bangalore. And today I'm going to be talking about why did my kidney transplant fail. At the outset, thank you, Kidney Warriors Foundation, for giving me this opportunity to talk to patients and caregivers. Now, before I begin with this very important topic and we discuss a bit about the importance of it, I first want to familiarize you with some terms that we all use. I'm guilty of this because as a doctor, I use this in front of my patients very often. So, graft. When we say a graft, we mean transplanted kidney. When recipient, it means the CKD patient who receives the kidney transplant. Donor refers to the person who donates the kidney, obviously. And when we say graft failure or graft loss, we mean the failure of the transplanted kidney, so that the kidney has failed now and it needs dialysis. Graft function refers to what's the kidney function of that kidney. And functioning graft means a transplanted kidney which is working. So these are some of the terms I'll be using in my talk. So I wanted to familiarize you with it. So now, why did my kidney transplant fail? This is a topic I think on every kidney patient's mind. Half of you who have received a kidney transplant or your family members have are always wondering, oh, what's happening? Is it going to fail now? When is it going to fail? You know, all these apprehensions. And I empathize, like I can understand what's going through your head. And the other half, which hasn't gotten a transplant, and are thinking about it, that this is the first question they ask us, but doctor, what's the success of a kidney transplant? We have heard kidney transplants fail a lot too. So before I go on to tell you the reasons for a kidney transplant failure, I want to tell you that kidney transplant is actually a very successful surgery. It's one of the most successful organ transplants out of all the organs. It has a very good success rate, as high as 97%. Of kidneys are still working a month after the transplant. 93% are still working at the end of the year. 83% of kidneys are still working very well at the end of 3 years. And even at the end of 10 years, if 100 people got transplanted, at the end of 10 years, 50 to 55% of those patients will still have working kidneys. And that's just a great statistic. It's great for your health that if you can get a kidney transplant, it improves your life and your quality of life. On an average, we say that about 5% drop in the kidney transplant. 5% of kidney transplants are lost every year. So if 100 people start today, by the end of a year, 95%, so on and so forth. So to start, it's a very successful procedure, and yes, the success is very good. But today we are going to focus on the failure. Why does a kidney transplant fail? Now, to distinguish between like why does a kidney transplant fail, I think we can divide it into time. We can usually when we talk about early graft failure, which refers to a kidney transplant that fails within a year of transplantation, and late graft failure, which usually refers to a kidney transplant that fails more than a year after transplantation. I have added another one for ease of explanation. I've added a very early graft failure. This is a kind of kidney transplant failure that happens like as soon as the transplant happens. Sometimes you hear, oh, so and so person got a transplant, but the kidney never worked. This is something like within the admission for transplant, the kidney never starts working. This, let's call it very early graft failure. First, let's go into the reasons of why a kidney transplant fails. So the very early graft failure, I mean, you got the transplant and within a few days, the transplant has failed. There are three main reasons for why this should happen. Number one, a hyperacute rejection. This is a dreaded complication of all organ transplants. It happens within minutes to hours. In fact, it can be seen by the surgeon in the OT itself that a kidney, instead of looking healthy and pink, is actually looking white and pale and diseased. And also, the transplanted kidneys in this case need to be removed immediately to save the patient. So this is hyperacute rejection. Then there's surgical complications, which happen within hours to days of a transplant surgery, which can lead to failure of a kidney transplant. And then there's infections. And as you know, any organ transplant, kidney transplant, you're given a lot of immunity lowering drugs. And patients who, that's why so much testing is done for the recipient to make sure they don't have any infection from before we expose them to these drugs. Because say they have a pneumonia or a urinary infection, sometimes these can become so exacerbated post transplant that the person gets into full blown sepsis, and that can lead to the failure of the transplanted kidney or even risk the life of the person. So these are the reasons of why very early a kidney transplant fails. I wanted to go into a bit of detail about hyperacute rejection and what it means. Now you have a donor on, as you see on the left, and the donor is donating you a kidney, kind of them, for their loved ones, and then we have a recipient. Now, a kidney is nothing but a bunch of blood vessels. It's just a lot of blood vessels. And so you have, blood vessels in the kidney, and every blood vessel in the body contains a large number of proteins attached to it. These proteins are what we call antigens. So, kidney has a lot of blood vessels which have a lot of antigens. On the other hand, a recipient or any person, any patient can have, any of us can have preformed antibodies. These happen due to a number of reasons. Maybe you've received blood transfusions, maybe you've had infections, maybe a lady who's gotten pregnant has been exposed to her child's blood, previous transplantation, you had another organ in you, so that led to more antibodies forming inside you, or even blood group antibodies which are naturally present in our blood. So recipients have preformed antibodies, and these are the things sometimes you'll know that your doctor asks for a single antigen bead testing or a detailed testing of antibodies. It is to find out if you have preformed antibodies or not. Now, when this kidney from the donor goes into the recipient who already has preformed antibodies, what's going to happen is that these preformed antibodies are immediately going to flow into this, the blood is going to flow in through this kidney and attach to all these little antigens if they recognize them, and form these antibodies are going to attach to the antigens, and this is going to cause an inflammation and damage. And this is what happens immediately. As soon as the clamp is removed and blood flows through a new kidney and there is preformed antibodies, it can absolutely damage that kidney. And that's what's called as hyperacute rejection. I went into detail here because every rejection is pretty much similar, except the timeline changes. So this is the most dreaded complication of transplant. And now with the advent of better testing, we don't see that anymore. We rarely ever come across a hyperacute rejection. Now, coming to some surgical complications. These are also other reasons why early graft failure might happen. So as you can see here, just wanted to explain to you a little bit. This is a transplanted kidney. It's transplanted, into your body. So the artery is attached to the recipient's artery, the vein is attached to the recipient's vein, and then there's the ureter, which is attached to the recipient's bladder. Now, what happens is any of these processes can have some complications. For example, during the arterial attachment, there can be blood clotting, there can be stenosis or blocking of the artery, there can be venous clotting that can lead to damage to the kidney. Sometimes during surgery, even the kidney itself may get damaged, called graft rupture, where the kidney gets damaged, or you can have hematoma or blood collection around the kidney. Sometimes lymph may collect around the kidney. All of these are, can lead to damage to the kidney and eventual failure. The most common ones, however, now are not vascular. They're actually uretral complications, urological complications, because the ureter of the transplanted kidney, the donor kidney, is attached to your bladder. So it may get rotated, it may get kinked, it may get damaged. So all of these can also lead to damage to this kidney graft. So this was the very early reasons why a kidney transplant might fail. Now come to reasons why a kidney transplant fails within the first year. And that can be because of, as I said, not hyperacute, but acute rejection. I'm going to go into a bit of detail going forward. Then there's recurrence of primary disease. See, a lot of the diseases that patients have that happen to your natural kidneys after the transplant can also affect the transplanted kidney. And that's a question I get asked very often too. Ki, ma'am, what is my kidney also going to get damaged with this disease that I have? And yes, it's possible for a variety of diseases. Then in the first year, another dreaded complications is infections or heart disease, because that can lead to that can damage you, that can lead to death of an individual, even though the kidney graft might be working. So we need to protect transplant patients from those as well, to protect the kidney and to protect them. Going in a bit of detail about rejection, what really is rejection? This is something you will hear all the time. So transplant rejection, as I described, hyperacute. Similarly, we have acute rejection. Now, this doesn't happen as fast as hyperacute, but it can happen within a few days. Maximum, we see maximum number of rejections within the first 3 months, maximum up to 6 months. They can be treated. Now, this is something I want all of you to know. When we tell patients, oh, you have acute rejection, they become very distraught. They think, oh, well, the kidney is gone. No, acute rejection can actually be treated. But the problem is, if acute rejection episodes happen very often, they can lead to damage of the graft. Coming to, then there is something called chronic rejection, which happens over a few years, after a few years, usually due to things like not maintaining your drugs properly, not taking your pills properly, and other various reasons. And this is something which is difficult to treat. So if you're diagnosed with chronic rejection, then that's a bit difficult to treat, because it will eventually lead to graft failure or loss of the transplant kidney. I wanted to tell you a bit about recurrence. What are the diseases that recur? So on the left here is all the diseases that show recurrence. I'm not going to go into, you can find this information online or from your doctor, but there are some dreaded diseases like FSGS, for example. If your primary disease was FSGS, there's as much as a 50% chance that your new transplanted kidney will get damaged because of FSGS and be lost. And so FSGS is one of the diseases where we actually really counsel patients whether they should or should not go for a transplant. Then there's IgA nephropathy. A lot of young patients suffer from IgA nephropathy. Unfortunately, IgA nephropathy has as much as a 50% recurrence. So it comes back in the transplant as high as 50%. And 10 to 20% of those kidneys are lost because the IgA in the transplanted kidney as well. Then there is HUS. I think kidney warriors know. Kamal Shah is one of the famous patients of HUS. And unfortunately, HUS, after HUS, if you get a transplant, 50% chance that the transplant might fail. And so this option is in fact often not given to these patients. This was the causes for why recurrence happens. So now, why did your kidney transplant fail? Actually, there is a variety of reasons why a kidney transplant might fail. The chunk of it is rejection. 60 to 70% of all failures of kidney transplants happen because of rejection. Hyperacute, acute, or over time chronic, where slowly the antibodies get formed and T cells damage the kidney, and finally the kidney eventually just gives up. There's also something known as how CKD happens in native kidneys. We see that post-transplant, due to a number of factors, also kind of chronic kidney disease happens. This is known as chronic kidney injury post-transplant. And that also we know after 10, 15 years can lead to kidney transplant failure. Then there's recurrence, which I already discussed with you, which can cause a loss of a graft. Sometimes new glomerular diseases happen in a transplanted kidney, which weren't there before, and that can lead to failure of the transplanted kidney. These are all diagnosed by kidney biopsies. So, when you start having increase of creatinine or protein in your urine and your doctor is going to suggest we do a kidney biopsy, please go ahead and do it to find out what is the cause of why your kidney transplant is giving up now. Chronic diseases like we all know that diabetes is very common. In fact, diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease are almost 6 times more common post-transplant than in a normal person. But this is something I want all of you to know. Please don't forget that besides your kidney, your other health is important too. I see a lot of my transplant patients, and generally transplant patients, ignoring their heart health, ignoring their sugars, not checking it for years together, and coming to us with these complications, and they can actually damage your kidney as well. Then there's drugs. All of you who've undergone a transplant or know somebody know about medicines like tacrolimus, cyclosporin, Taclevel, or Neural. So these are CNIs, and they, even though they're really good for the kidney transplant early on, over time we do know that these drugs are known to be associated with kidney transplant failure in case of toxicities. Then we have, of course, the infections. And like post-transplant, your patient can be exposed to a large number of infections, but BK virus is one of them, which is known to be associated with complete failure of the transplant kidney. Because when you get a BK virus infection and your doctor does a biopsy and tells you you have BK virus, they're going to reduce your immunosuppression. So one side, you're between a rock and a hard place. One side, the BK virus is damaging the kidney, and where your immunosuppression is reduced, you are more prone to rejections. There's also, of course, surgical complications and death due to other causes that we discussed. I'm not going to bore you with data. I didn't want to do that, but I just wanted this study to be pointed out. So they did a study where they looked at by biopsying all the patients whose kidneys failed, transplant kidneys failed. And they found that actually 64% were because of some or the other form of rejection. But what I found interesting was that of the 64%, 50% of the patients actually had non-adherence to medicine. So the patients who lost their kidney graft because of rejection, 50% reported that they were not sticking to their medicine. And that's a point I want to drive home to all of you. Please stick to your medicines. And this is the conclusion of my study. And if you don't take anything back from my study, please take this back with you. How can I prevent my kidney transplant from failing? And I used my skills and came up with a mnemonic for all of you. Be prepared. Number one, pre-transplant workup should be done thoroughly. Let your doctor do the test they're asking you to do. Antibody test, antigen test, fitness with the donor. Do it. It's good for your kidney transplant. Regular follow-up and testing. Make sure that you're regular with your testing. Even though now for a year or two your creatinine is normal, doesn't mean you become lax and stop following up with your doctor or doing your tests. Early reporting. As soon as you have symptoms, please report to your transplant team with the earliest symptoms: fever, pain in the transplant kidney, burning micturition, frothing of urine, protein coming out of your urine, anything, report to your transplant team immediately. Patients who had glomerulonephritis earlier, IgA nephropathy, FSGS, or any of the glomerular diseases, make sure that your proteinuria is screened. Even doctors may forget. You should remember that there should be regular screening for urine protein, because the first sign of urine protein, you can actually treat the glomerular disease. Stick to your medicines, stick to your medicines, adherence to medicines. Rule out heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, cancers, and infections. All of these are almost 6 to 7 times more common in transplant patients than the general population. And make sure, like a normal individual would, you screen yourself for other organs of the body as well. Educate yourself. All of you who are attending this talk, thank you. Know all of this. Teach others. Don't be, naive and like ignorant about your disease, because education is your greatest weapon. And drugs, this is for your transplant team, not for you, but the drugs and dosages of transplant medicine should be modified like regularly by your transplant team, and they should not take it casually. That's it from me. I hope you learned what are the reasons for transplant failure, and I'm open to any questions or any discussions. Thank you.